I do think that this has got plenty going for it. Let's run down the official preview, and then we'll get stuck into the chat. So Thea Hale is going to sit down for an exclusive interview. This is going to be interesting to actually see her sitting down and talking a bit about where she is with her development. She's been in NXT for a while, but you know, I don't think she's going to be winning that title from Roxanne, but this is still a good opportunity for her to sit down and kind of really introduce herself. We don't really hear so much from her with these kind of sit-down interviews. She's normally doing like these kind of very energetic, very animated backstage scenes, or she'll be at ringside kind of getting all hyped up. So for her to actually sit down and do a bit of an interview is actually going to be quite interesting to see what she's got to say. So I am actually looking forward to that. That should be good. Then we've got Josh Briggs against Brooks Jensen. Genuinely looking forward to that as well. I think those two have obviously had quite an interesting history, but what we're doing with Brooks Jensen right now, with him like invading the show and causing all these problems, and then of course he attacked Javon Evans. I think we're doing something quite interesting with him. So now he's going in a no DQ match against his former partner, and again that's a story that I'm on board with. Then we've got Ashanti the Adonis taking on Oro Mensah. It'll be cool to see Ashanti. I'm not down on seeing Ashanti in action. I can't say that I'm like crazy about that because we just haven't been seeing Ashanti, so I don't really have any feelings there, but it'll be interesting to see what he brings. So we've got that, and then we've got Eddie Thorpe taking on Lexis King. I like Lexis King. Eddie Thorpe, I don't know, we just sort of have tried to start something new with the whole DJing thing. And I think that might work, but it's not massively grabbing me. Him being on that platform, doing a bit of like music and DJing, I was a bit like, not sure this is the gimmick that's going to take him to the top. I'm not sure this is the gimmick that's going to get him like really connecting and breaking through. So, I don't know. The jury's a bit out on that one. So we'll see how that segment goes. But, yeah, look, there's plenty for us to get our teeth into. There's plenty for us to be talking about. We know that Stephanie Vacour is going to be on the way. Not this week, but she's coming. We know that Julia is on the way. We know that she's coming. We know that Delta is on the way. She's expected to be coming to NXT. Now, I don't know about these boomers, right? I've only seen a handful of matches of these people. But we know that fresh blood is on the way. We know that some surprises and moments are coming. Like when Julia arrives, when Stephanie Vacour arrives, even when Delta arrives, there will be pockets of the wrestling universe, the wrestling fan base that are going to be very excited, very energized, and so I'm looking forward to those. So I don't think we get any of them this week, but there's plenty of stuff going on with NXT as we continue to head towards that kind of SummerSlam periods. I'm not sure what the next big show is for NXT, to be honest. I don't know quite what we're working towards, but yeah, there's enough here, I think, for us to be optimistic that this should be a solid offering, and you never know what TNA stuff is going to drop as well. Al said Seth Rollins, so Al wants to touch on Raw. Let's go. Seth Rollins, right, being the special guest referee, it reminds me of 97 with Bret Hart, Undertaker, and Shawn Michaels when Shawn was the special guest referee. Yeah, I mean, I'm just not a fan of it. I really want to do Drew and CM Punk. It's had such a big build, and it really feels like these two need to just sort it out, settle their differences. It's like Adam Pearce has pulled this unnecessary swerve. Like, he's kind of produced a guest referee when we just don't need one. I mean, I don't know. It's if he wants a superstar to kind of keep order, Seth would be the worst choice, because Seth has got issues with these people. He's, you know, there's no chance that he's going to be calling this, or it's unlikely that he's not going to get emotionally involved. Like, I just don't, there's no angle here that makes sense. Adam Pearce has introduced an explosive element as guest referee for, I don't know, for what purpose? To keep the peace? To upset everyone? I don't know what his real motive is. If he's done it because he just wants to give a little back to Punk, he wants to give a little back to Drew, he wants to kind of stick it to them, maybe you can make a story out of that. But if it's because he doesn't think a normal referee is going to be good enough and he needs a referee, you know, why wouldn't you just turn to someone like Braun Strowman? Why wouldn't you just turn to someone that's absolutely nothing to do with this feud? Why would you turn to Seth Rollins? So, I don't know. It's not one that I'm a fan of. It's not one that I think is this story is not grabbing me. I think, for me, it feels like you've took the Drew CM Punk story and you've poured a little bit of cold water on it, really. If it was just Drew versus Punk one-on-one, let's get this sorted, I'd be way more excited for that. But introducing the cackling goon, you know, I'm not a Seth hater, but I mean, like, him cackling away in the crowd singing his song, like, I don't need that distraction for this match. I don't need him being inserted in this match. I just need Drew, and I just need Punk, and I just need them to fight. And that's it. And so I don't really get why we've gone down these roads. And as I said, I can't even go, oh, it's because of this reason. Because if it's because, oh, we want to be fair, this is the last person you would choose to be referee. So I can only think it's Adam Pearce doing it because, oh, you want to elbow me in the face, Drew? Well, here you go. Here's your match. But how about I do this to you? And he goes and flipping sort of, I don't know, does it to teach him a bit of a lesson. But I just sort of feel like you're making one of your big matches a little bit worse. You're making one of your big matches a little bit worse. And like introducing an element that just doesn't need to be there. I don't know. It's all part of a bigger picture, isn't it? Like, that's my 2 cents. I'm really not a fan of it. But it is what it is. That's the direction they're going. This is the story they're telling. I'm sure we will get a Drew Punk match without a referee, like without a special guest referee. I'm sure we will get that at some point. It's just a bit of a shame that it's not going to be at SummerSlam. This is like Punk's first match back. And yeah, I don't know. It's not what I would have done. But we did just do a bit of a poll, and I know that I'm in the slight minority, right? So as I'm saying these words, I just did a Wrestling Escape Pod where 55% said that they were happy that Seth was the guest ref, it's fine, and 45% were against it. So I would say that it's not quite 50-50, or certainly not from the poll we've just done, but I would say that if you're okay with it and you're on board with it, I'd say you're, to my knowledge, in the slight majority. If you're down on it, I would say you're not alone, because there was a 45% of the people in the poll we just did that was also not feeling it. So this one is not one that has got universal love, let's put it that way. It does feel like one of those wrestling things, one of those wrestling situations that's 50-50-ish. Let's put it that way. Half of you, just slightly more than half of you will be on board and will be okay with it. Slightly less than half of you are not fans, according to the poll we just did on the Wrestling Escape Pod. So those are my 2 cents on the Seth situation. Brony said, if Trick isn't winning the NXT title back, they need a good feud for him, because if not, it's going to be a case of how Braun was after he lost the NXT title, just hanging around, not doing anything. Well, yes, I agree. I suppose there's a few things at play here. One of them would be you can't move people up until they're ready for them. So, and actually I would say don't call them up, because what's worse than being in a bit of a rubbish feud in NXT is being in no feud at all, right? So I kind of feel like if they have no creative for you, then just keep them in NXT. So if Trick is ready and they don't have anything for him on the main roster, well, then just find some stuff for him to do, right? Just keep him on TV, make it as good as you possibly can, of course. But I would take that over calling him up and them going, we've got it all planned for the next 6 months and we just don't have anything for Trick Williams right now. So you've kind of got to balance that, right? The other thing as well is that because this is developmental, you do need to obviously rotate the champions. Sometimes you do need to give other people a run with the ball. And sometimes you'll have like someone being a long reigning champion, right? You can definitely tell that story. But I don't think that's a story that should be the norm. I think that should be the exception. Because really, at its core, NXT is a developmental brand. So what you want to do is you want to give a few people a run with the title, the main title, so that they can get the experience of carrying the ball, really. This is what it's like. You don't just give it everyone. You just give it to those top talents that you really think have got an opportunity to go on and be a top talent on the main roster. So, you know, the pressures of being champion, the extra responsibilities that come with being champion, you know, all of a sudden your promos, there's a lot more emphasis on them. You know, your promos, if you cut a promo in the middle of the show, you know, that's fine. It is what it is. But if you cut a promo at the end of a show, you know, there's a lot more pressure there because this is the closing segment. This is what people will probably remember most. There's been a lot of times where we've watched a lot of bad shows that have had a really good main event and then people come to score the show and it gets a good score. And it's because, I don't know if there's something in the human psyche where we just really gravitate to the thing we saw last. You know, I suppose it's that, isn't it, really? If the show ends on a really good note and you're feeling positive, you're feeling like, oh, that was a good segment, you may reflect kinda on the rest of the show that didn't give you those feelings. Whereas if it ends on a down note, and you're a bit down, like after the show, that negativity might seep into how you viewed the rest of the show. So that closing segment, that main event segment, the promo to close the show or the match that closes the show, it can carry quite a bit of weight. It can carry quite a bit of responsibility. I don't think as humans we tend to score those main events and those closing segments the same as we do whatever happened halfway through the first hour, right? Whatever happened halfway through the first hour is largely forgettable by the time we're scoring it, right? It really, the last thing we see is something that can really carry quite a bit of extra weight. So I sort of feel like Trick being champion gave him a little run with the ball. They clearly see something in Ethan Page and they want to give him a run with the ball. We may go back to Trick, or we may, you know, give someone else a little run with the ball. I think you're right in that we've got to, you know, not just have him bobbing around in the background now, Trick, but I would say the challenge really is to find good creative for everybody. Like, that's the challenge for everybody. So Trick included, right? So if you're champ, if you're not champ, the responsibility is can we come up with some really, really good stories for everybody on our roster, or everybody we're looking to use at the moment. And listen, that's the challenge, isn't it? We like to sit and do fantasy booking and we like to throw ideas around. It's obviously a lot more difficult if you start with a blank piece of paper and it's like, right, what are you doing this week? What are you doing next week? What are you doing the week after that? And you've got to try and book every single person. Like, when you're actually sat there doing it, you know, I could imagine that there will be times where some of the creative doesn't kind of click. To be honest, I could understand there being times where you want to do more for someone but they're just not a focus at the moment and their TV time is going to be a bit more limited, and there's only so much you can do with a segment, you know. So yeah, it's, you know, it's one of those, they're doing their best, and I agree we do need to find good creative for him, but that's a never ending situation, really. We've got to do good creative for everyone. That's the challenge. Brony said the new bloodlines suck. Without Jacob, the whole group would be sinking. OG bloodline would put them to rest. Days Raw did 1.793. That's good. Lately, the 6-week average is 1.779. It's great momentum before MNF, Monday Night Football. If you remember, last year was Groundhog Day, and Raw got killed after months of repetitive shows. I don't remember what we were doing this time last year. I mean, we were building up, were we not, to Roman versus Jay at SummerSlam, with the whole who's the tribal chief stuff. But I can't quite remember what we were doing specifically on the shows. But that was the SmackDown side anyway, wasn't it? But in regards to, so I'm guessing was Seth champion last year? I think Seth we'd not long introduced the belt, maybe in the May time, the World Heavyweight Championship. So I think Seth was still running with that title. That was what was happening over on, and was Becky or Bianca the women's champion? But either way, I can't remember specifics about it. I think that we're in a decent place with Raw. I think that Raw has got good momentum. People coming out of the shows seem to really enjoy them. And I think that, like, you know, we're in a good... You want SmackDown to be in the same place that Raw is. So I don't begrudge Raw getting good ratings. I think it deserves it. I think the Liv Dom storyline has got attention. I mean, all I've seen today are people sharing those pictures of Liv. You know, Liv with her ash cheeks out. That image of her in the shorts is absolutely everywhere. So it might be, you know, maybe not a great reflection of the wrestling community. The most shared picture is like of a girl showing off her backside. But it has resonated. It has worked. People are on board with the Rhea Dom Liv story. And I think that has, you know, delivered on every front. I think it's made Liv a much bigger star as well. All of a sudden now, you don't really roll your eyes or think twice about Liv being on TV. Before, when she used to come out, like, we were waiting for promos to actually, you know, not sound so wooden. You know, we were waiting for matches that were really going to grab us. And now she's in this amazing story, and you know, you expect to see her. I mean, she's the women's champ. She's in one of the biggest stories in WWE, so you know, you expect to see her multiple times. This has been revolutionary for her, this story. When you tell the story of Liv Morgan, this will be the story that completely changed everything for her. I would say when she won Money in the Bank and cashed it in, I would say that was a false dawn. I would actually say that felt like it was the moment where, right, this is where everything changes. I don't think it was. I think actually on reflection, that was us trying to pull the trigger on her and basically shooting ourselves. Because they completely botched her title run with what they did at SummerSlam. So that was SummerSlam going back a few years ago, wasn't it? Her match with Ronda. Completely flipping botched it, didn't they? So that was a false dawn. I would say this story is the true arrival of her as a proper main event talent. It wouldn't shock me now that she goes on to be women's champion multiple times. Up until this point, I think she's had one women's title reign. And as we said, it wasn't very good. Whereas now, I can see her being a champ multiple times. So you've got that. And obviously all the Judgment Day story that's going on with it. You've got Jey Uso, who's super over with all the yeeting and all of that stuff. You've got the Wyatt Six. You've got, obviously, Gunther going after Damian Priest. Gunther, who won King of the Ring. So we've known that he's going to have a title match at SummerSlam. Longest reigning Intercontinental Champion going after the world title. Might not seem like a massive deal, but he's very credible, and he is someone that I would tune into Raw for, or I would tune into SmackDown for. I would watch, I mean, I watch him anyway, but I would watch whatever show Gunther was on. And so I've got to think there are other people that feel that way. Add in Bron Breakker, add in Ilya Dragunov, add in the fact the show's got just a good pace to it. It's not perfect. There's definitely elements that are, you know, you go, didn't need that. Could have done without that. That needed to be tighter. So on, so on, so on. But yeah, week after week after week, we keep saying it's the best show. So I don't begrudge them getting those. That's a really good rate. It's basically a 1.8, isn't it? I mean, it's a really good rating. That's a good rating. So I think that is positive. Very, very good. I just wish that SmackDown's quality could match that. I think their rating is still like a 2.3, though. I think they're still quite good. But yeah, I wish the quality was a bit better. Matt said, I always feel like the stories are told better on Raw. It feels like everything happens at the end of SmackDown. They need to extend, says Matt. I don't know if they need to extend, like go from 2 hours to 3 hours, or if they just need to maybe, I don't know, space it out a little better. Like, I agree, the most interesting stuff tends to happen at the end with the Cody situation. I think their mid-card stories are very poor. So you need to kind of flesh out some better mid-card stories. And amazingly, because it's only a 2 hour show, it should be super easy. I mean, I would say the 2 hours that they've got are not as good as the 3 hours of Raw. And my takeaway from that isn't we need to make SmackDown 3 hours. My takeaway from that is, why the hell can't you book 2 hours? Why can't you book 2 good hours on a Friday, yet you seem to be able to book 2 good hours, 2.5 good hours? I don't know that they can book 3 good hours. There's plenty of people saying that the start of the 3rd hour of Raw yesterday was not that strong. But the ending came good, you know? So I think they've got the ability to book 2 hours, 2.5 hours, good programming, but somehow on SmackDown, where you've got a 2 hour show, you don't seem to be able to do it. I'm baffled. I don't have an answer. I don't know why. I don't know where it's going wrong. They clearly want the shows to be good. I don't think they're sacrificing their own shows or sabotaging their own shows. I do wonder if there's a bit more focus on Raw, because of course they're not staying on Fox. So I do wonder if, like, all the best minds, all the best creative minds are working on Raw because they want Raw strong, because that move to Netflix, there is nothing bigger than when they go to Netflix. That move to Netflix is everything. It's everything. I mean, they're getting paid a lot of money to go to Netflix. You need Raw rock solid. You need Raw to be absolutely rock solid for when it moves. So you could understand them maybe getting some of their best creative minds over to Raw, getting ready for that Netflix move. The move that SmackDown's going to make from Fox to USA Network, it's not as big. USA Network has been a home for WWE going back, God's 40 odd years or so. I mean, it's where Raw began. And before that, I think Primetime Wrestling was on USA Network. And so, you know, they've had a relationship with USA Network for decades. So maybe they're thinking that, like, that move's not as big as the move of Raw going over to Netflix. And maybe there's something in that as to why Raw right now is the better show than SmackDown as we, you know, start to edge our way towards the end of the year. The other thing could just be that they are trying to tell some good stories on SmackDown, but they're just not quite landing, you know? That could be the alternative, is that they're trying to tell some good stories, but they just cannot get them to stick. They cannot get them to kind of punch through. So, I don't know. It's an interesting one as to where it's just going a little bit awry. I mean, let's not paint a picture that SmackDown is a dumpster fire. It's not. It's just not as good as Raw. Like, Raw is clear. Like, it's miles ahead. SmackDown is just getting left behind a little bit, you know? It's still an average watch. It's still a solid watch. It's still a show. I don't go into it like, you know, on a Thursday night, I'm not like going to bed crying. I'm not like lying awake going, oh my God, it's SmackDown tomorrow. It's just it's just not as good. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's pretty close with NXT at the moment. I can't make my mind up as to which show I prefer out of NXT and SmackDown. Raw is number 1, and then I can't quite make out which is number 2. But none of them are bad, in my opinion. It's just one of them is very good at the moment. Aubrey said, Seth is a modern doink, except he's got the I've been here the whole time, so I deserve a main event attitude. I was a bit disappointed with his attire this week, you know, and that sounds a bit wild because he's always known for crazy attire, but I just thought that his look was... I thought he'd stumbled across something really interesting last week, and that was he had a look that was a little bit out there, right? It was a little flamboyant, but it still looked cool. Didn't look stupid. It didn't look cringe. It didn't look goofy. I think this is, for me, where he's going wrong. He's wearing these outlandish clothes, right? He's wearing all this absolutely out there, outlandish attire, but it doesn't look cool. It doesn't. I don't look at him and go, yeah, man, look at that. I'm like, every time you see him, you're like, what are you wearing? What are you wearing? Why are you wearing that? Like, it's not... If you look back at, say, Macho Man, when he had those amazing robes, you know, just absolutely beautiful, or Ric Flair, when he would come down to the ring in, like, these amazing robes, like, they grabbed attention. You'd go, wow, look at that, amazing, right? But it was impressive. Or when Warrior would come down with his long jackets, you know, or Ravishing Rick Rude would have the spray-painted tights, and he'd have, like, different faces of his opponent or his opponent's wife spray painted onto his tights. You know, that was impressive, and it kind of grabbed your attention, and you were like, damn, that's cool. And they made figures of them, and like, it was cool. But with Seth, he's been doing this for a long time now, and I sort of feel like it's not cool. It doesn't look cool. It just looks random and a bit cringy, really, now. I mean, at first, I suppose it was fun. What's he going to wear this week? But, I mean, it wears out quite quickly. Like, what's he going to wear this week? Now, I really want him to transition into still be outlandish, still push the envelope, but at least feel like I want to look at Seth and go, yeah, man, he's cool. I think he might be one of the best wrestlers in the world, but it's hard to get past the outfits. It's hard to get past the music, you know, it's like he's got a big entrance, and all of this seems to overshadow his in-ring work now. It feels a little bit like he's injured, or he's got an injury, and we're trying to turn up the noise elsewhere so that we don't focus as much on the in-ring. Like, it sort of feels like when you talk about Seth, you have to talk about his entrance and his song. And when you talk about Seth, you have to talk about his outfits. And when you talk about, like, Seth, like, there's other stuff to talk about other than what he does in his matches and what he does in the ring. And I wonder if he's just missing a step. We know that he's carrying a bad back injury for a while. And, I mean, his matches have been fine, but I can't say that they've set the world on fire. Monday Night Rollins feels like a long time ago now. It feels like a long time ago. And I wonder if he's just missing a step, and I wonder if we've turned up this other stuff to just try and, I don't know, distract or something. I don't know. I would definitely... I was so... It really struck me the other week when I saw him. I think he was just wearing, like, some grey pants, like a black jacket. I think they still were a bit flared, and, you know, it was still a little outlandish. I mean, nothing that outlandish, but it just looks so good. It just looks so cool. And I was like, this feels like a good way forward for him. And then this week he comes down, and God only knows what that was with that jacket that was, like, all frilled at the back and looked like he'd been attacked by a bear. I don't know. it is what it is, isn't it? I mean, there's going to be people that love it and love him and, say that he can't do any wrong. But I just find it so frustrating when I look at him and I feel like we've got one of the best wrestlers in the world in WWE. I feel like we've got someone that could be doing something better than what they're doing right now. I think the Monday Night Messiah stuff, I don't know why he changed to that, but he changed to it and it wasn't working. And then he changed into the Visionary, and I think it's had success, but I feel like it needs to evolve again. We need another evolution for Seth Rollins. And hopefully this next evolution, whenever we get it, if we ever get it, hopefully can get us to a place that I think, would be a little bit more satisfying in 2024, 2025. So, yeah, Seth's a very interesting conversation. It's a very interesting conversation. I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves, because he was in the Shield, he's a multiple-time champion, he's a bona fide main event star. It's unfortunate that he is around at the same time as Roman, and that he was around at the same time as Brock. And, he's been overshadowed, unfortunately, by those superstars. And now he finds himself behind Cody Rhodes and probably behind CM Punk. I mean, he really is the bridesmaids. And I feel like he's trying everything he can to not be the bridesmaids. Maybe that's part of it. Perhaps that's why he's got this outlandish attire. If I'm going to be the bridesmaid, you're going to notice me. And maybe that's part of it. But at its core, I don't think it's cool. Not for me, anyway. It might work for some of you, but not for me. I would definitely look to evolve Seth a little bit and evolve his look a little bit. And I would take that entrance away as well. I would take that entrance away. I'd give him something different, something new. I mean, you can always find stuff that the crowd are going to react to. I mean, we had the whole burn it down thing, which people really loved. Like, the Monday Night Rollins stuff was super over. Like, you can always find stuff that's going to connect with people. I feel like we could have some entrance music that's a bit cooler, and I think we could have a look that's a bit cooler, and hopefully we would end up with a Seth Rollins that's a little bit cooler. So, yeah, it's frustrating, to be honest, because I really like him. It sounds like I don't, but I do. I just wish it was a bit more cooler. But Seth looked like he could. He took Becky's kitchen curtains down and he wore them, said Shell. Yeah, I feel like he's looked that way quite a few times, where you go, what the hell is he wearing? And that's fine because it stands out. But we've been doing this a long time now. And there comes a point where it never crosses my mind now, what's he wearing? I don't ever think that anymore. I just expect him to come out and just look outrageous. I don't know. It's sort of run its course of like the intrigue of, oh my God, what's he going to wear this week? That's run its course a long time ago for me. And actually now, I saw him wearing something that was pretty cool the other week, and that actually hit me harder. And so I saw him what he wore this week, and I was like, oh man, we've gone back to that. So, yeah. Right, Big Time said, Days, fun. Fox was planning to preempt SmackDown to FS1 for 3 weeks before moving to USA, making WWE's transition difficult. WWE got out of a deal a month early. Instead of October 4th, it's going to be September 6th. Albright said there was no bigger difference between seeing Roman standing next to Seth at that WrestleMania 40 kickoff show. Seth looked like a clown and Roman looked like an athlete. Yeah, I don't want this to be a, I feel like I've maybe stuck on this subject a bit too long. I'm not looking to make this Seth sucks kind of a, point. I'm not making that point. I'm just saying I'm frustrated because he's an athlete as well. He's a top talent. He's a main event Hall of Famer. He's a multiple-time Hall of Famer. He goes in with the Shield. He goes in as a solo member, right? 2-time Hall of Famer, guaranteed. One of the biggest stars of this generation. And I just don't think we're getting everything out of him that we could. I feel like it's time for an evolution there. Trini said, Seth is a character like Jericho. He tends to overstay eras of the character and not evolve until the fans turn. Only in that way, though, they're vastly different. Otherwise, says Trini says, Slim Shady lives. Hey, Trini, do you know, I went back to an old stream because I've started doing old reaction clips and putting them up. Some people may have seen them. If you did, shout out to you. I will put another up tomorrow. I was thinking, should I have put one up today? But I did some for Raw. So I will put one up tomorrow. And I went back to like a stream from like years ago, and I was looking at some of the names in the chat, and there's a lot of names there that I don't see around anymore. And that's normal. That's natural. You know, people have like new jobs. People have families. People leave wrestling, right? So people come and go all the time. But I did see Trini and William, and there was a few names in there that I saw, and I was like, no way, that's so cool. It's just so cool to go back to some of those old streams and still see names of people that are still with us now, and you go, oh man, that's so cool. It makes me feel like we're doing something right. Maybe we're not doing much right. Perhaps we're doing close to everything wrong, but we must be doing something right, whereby we've got a real community of names of people that join us on a regular basis, you know. So love that. That was a little touched. Turns out I've got a heart. I didn't realize, but it turns out I've got a heart, and I felt a little something in it, and I was like, oh, that's nice. James said Seth's attire makes Adrian Street look straight. Do you know, it's funny you should mention Adrian Street, because that did just go into my head. Adrian Street and Adrian Adonis. Both of them were, you know, I suppose you could go Gorgeous George as well. Those kind of flamboyant we have had people that have kind of really pushed the boundaries when it's come to being flamboyant with their clothing. And I suppose he is a little bit of a modern version of that, if you will, but just without the kind of sexuality part of it being involved. The thing with Adrian Street is you never knew if he was straight or if he was gay. And I saw an interview with him actually where he said that he did that on purpose because it was that mystery of not knowing if he was straight or if he was gay that he sort of played on. And you never quite knew, and people would speculate, and it got people talking. And he said that when he saw Adrian Adonis doing the same sort of thing, he knew straight away that would fail, because quite early on, Adrian Adonis came out and said, I'm gay, and admitted that he was gay. And that's not a problem, obviously, but what Adrian Street was saying was, you took all the mystery away. You took all the mystery away. You took all the talking point away. He's a gay wrestler now. And so, like, I knew straight away it wouldn't work, because I knew what had worked for me was the whole mystery of, was I straight or was I gay? In regards to Seth, obviously, you know, no mystery there. Everyone knows he's in a relationship and has got a kid with Becky. So he's got the look, the outlandish look, but it's funny, isn't it? There's no depth to it. Like, do you know what I mean? There's no mystery or anything to speculate about other than what's he going to wear this week, you know? There's no depth to what he's wearing. There's no, like, meaning or anything to what he's wearing. I don't know. I feel like there's definitely more that we could be doing, but I feel like that's a point that we've run. I've run that point into the ground, and I didn't mean to. But Sunny says, hello chat, on paperback and Kindle are my books. Please consider buying my second book, The Soul Within, a collection of poems. Sunny, I hope you are well. Shout out to you. Daze, Drew versus Punk, Bad Bloods, Hell in a Cell. Let's go. That would be good. And can we have a normal ref? That would be good. Yeah, I feel like I think you're right. I think it's going to be a feud. I don't know. I feel like that'll be good, doing some sort of rematch. It's just Seth being the guest ref just sort of does take some away for their match at SummerSlam for me. It doesn't make me more excited for their match. It makes me less excited for their match, and that's just so frustrating. Like, I so want to just be like, yeah, this is amazing, that's amazing, but I've said before, I can't not be honest. Like, it's difficult. Because I'm really excited for SummerSlam, and I think it looks really, really good. But I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have put Seth in. And then, of course, we've just had this big conversation about Seth. Are you doing UFC on Saturday night? Yes, we are. Yes, I haven't updated this thing yet. Check Wrestle Votes. Check Wrestle Votes. Have a look. What are they saying? What are Wrestle Votes saying just before we're about to go to NXT? NXT. 22 minutes ago, for the first time as a full team, the Rascals will compete on NXT in a 6-man tag match against Axiom, Nathan Frazier, and Javon Evans. Cool. Didn't they compete last week? Or was that just 2 of them? I don't know. I don't give a flip. I don't give a flip. I don't even know who the Rascals are. So, to me, they're just MSK have got back together, and one of them dressed as Hitler. So, I mean, I don't mind the Rascals. I saw them last week with that Trey Miguel guy, and I thought he was good. So he was like another Wesley. I think Wesley's good. I think that Trey guy looked good. I think the is it Wentz? Is that his name? I mean, they're good. They're quick. They're gonna add to the tag division. But I don't give a flip. It doesn't bother me if they're on the show or not on the show. Like, it doesn't make any difference to me. So, but someone must care for Wrestle Votes to feel the need to put that out. So, Rascals against Axiom, Nathan Frazier, and Javon. That's a good team, actually. Axiom, Nathan Frazier, and Javon Evans. I'm here for the young OG. I'm definitely here for the young OG. And ever since Dave Meltzer said that Nathan Frazier reminds him of a young Ospreay, it has made me look at Nathan Frazier a slightly different way. Because all of a sudden now I'm thinking, yeah, he will be a solo star. And he is really quick. I mean, there's reports that they're worried that no one can keep up with him. So I sort of look at that and I'm like, yeah, and he's young. And you go, where is he going to end up in like 5-6 years time? Where is he going to get to, you know? Ever since he made that comment, it has made me look at Nathan Frazier a little different. I wish we would get rid of the Axiom thing. Axiom ain't doing it for me. I think he was better when he was A-Kid, and A-Kid was not a great name. But he's a good-looking guy. I don't know why we've put a mask on him. He's a good-looking guy. So I feel like, I don't know if we keep him as Axiom. It does sound like home insurance. So I don't know if that's going to be his long-term thing. I think there needs to be a tweak there. But Nathan Frazier, yeah. I'm keeping an eye on how he's developing. And I mean, the young OG, I mean, is there a more exciting superstar than the young OG? He might have been the MVP coming out of the last NXT show. He might have been the MVP of that. I mean, I think if you knew about him, I think it just backed up what you already knew. And if you didn't know about him, I'm pretty sure that you went away impressed. So, yeah, he's, I mean, considering he's, 20? I mean, it's incredible. Some of the talent they've got in NXT is incredible, isn't it? It's you know, you've got Trick right there. You've got Javon right there. You've got Nathan Frazier right there. Axiom's good. That just needs a tweak. Just needs a tweak. I don't mind what we're doing with Wendy Chu as well. I don't mind what we're doing with Wendy. I know that she might not be to everyone's taste, but it is kind of nice having a darker superstar. Don't know how I feel about the dolls, to be honest. Don't know how I feel about the dolls. I mean, it's not a big part of their gimmick, but I I do like having the darker characters, and her in maybe a tag team with Tatum could be kind of interesting. Like something else to keep an eye on as well. But a lot of the NXT stars would probably not be used on a main roster, says Tom. Well, it's a mixed bag, isn't it? You know, you've got some that are gonna make it, some that sadly won't. It's always been that way. You know, we've always had people in NXT that, unfortunately, that is their ceiling or is deemed to be their ceiling. You know, I mean, Cassius Ohno couldn't get out of NXT. And like people like Bull Dempsey didn't get out of NXT. Like there's people that never managed to get out of NXT. Then of course you got the people that do, and then you've even got the people that don't even make it onto the NXT show. You get plenty of people that get signed, and then you hear they've been cut, and you don't even know who they are because they never even made it onto the NXT show. So there's people sadly leaving WWE at all the different stages. Look at Dijak. I mean, he got called up, didn't even get used, I think, on TV. Obviously, he was up there when he was with Retribution, but going up as Dijak, I don't even know if he had a match on the main roster, and then he ended up getting cut. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, you just don't know when the axe is going to fall, you know? It might be that you never make it onto NXT TV and you go just months after being signed. It might be that you go after being on TV for a bit of NXT. It might be that you go, you know, you might have been there a while and then you end up going like Cassius Ohno. Or it might be you get called up, you never make it to the main roster, then you go. Like, there's people that go at various different points. I don't think that will change. So it is a bit of a mixed bag in that regard. Right, we are just 2 minutes away from the start of the show. The biggest stars on the main roster from this group of NXT talent will be Trick, Oba, Roxanne, and Cora, says James. All great names, yeah. All great names. I can see all of them having very, very bright futures. Right, let's go. Let's flip and go. Let's see what they've got for us. What they're cooking up this week, eh? What they cooking up this week? Do we think Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas, will have a match at SummerSlam? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that I think it's the Wyatt Six that will. Chad and the Creeds against Mercy, Ramblin' Rabbit, and Huskus. Maybe Nikki as well. She might be on the outside, just like how Ivy might be on the outside. But we haven't introduced Ivy into this group yet. So, no, I mean, to be honest, next week's the go home, and we still haven't like added them onto the show. They're gonna be there though. You're not gonna do SummerSlam without the Wyatt Six being there. I suppose the question is, will they be in an official match, or will they do a segment where Chad comes out and, you know, they attack him on SummerSlam? Like, I think it'll be a match, but I can understand people getting a bit concerned that we haven't booked it yet, you know? We haven't announced it yet. Right, we should be going over to the start of this, but it has not started yet. Has it? No. NXT, July 23rd. Says that we're still waiting. Who is Jey Uso fighting at SummerSlam? I don't think he's got a match scheduled yet. We're doing something with Judgment Day at the moment, so I don't know if that'll lead to something. Here we go. Here we go. Right, Daze Comic Con is this Thursday. Oh, is it? God, that'll be good. We'll have to keep our eyes peeled for that then. because all the new figures will be showing off, so that's exciting. When is Cora Jade due back? Well, I don't think she's too far. She's been doing, like, she started training. So I don't think it'll be like this week, next week. It's probably going to be a good couple of months, but... Who's this? Trick getting out the car. Trick gets out the car and walks in. Whoop that Trick cap on. There's Brenly. Hello. My mind is made up. I want Ethan Page. Let's go, man. This is how you start the show. This is how you start the show. That Trick. Oh, man. Look at him as well. He's absolutely ripped. That Trick. That Trick. Can you feel that? Whoop that Trick. Here's Trick Williams. Making his way into the ring. Crowd going crazy. We're starting the show off with Trick Willie. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Whoop that Trick. Matt said, dude is a star. He is. He is. He is. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Since losing my championship, I ain't been the same. Ethan Page. You're going to see me again. I ain't going to stop till I get that title back. Okay, so this is bringing out Cedric. Cedric's coming out. I didn't want to do this in front of the whole world. The advice you asked me for is coming from a good place. We're going to start a feud here, aren't we? Trick wants his title. Oh, mate, this match will bang. Trick against Cedric. People are sleeping on Cedric. People are sleeping on Cedric. This guy can go. I don't even know what Ashanti's music sounds like. We just played Ashanti's music. I had no idea. He ain't trying to hear you. Here's Ashanti the Adonis. If you've come here to stir the pot, we don't need that, dog. I'm just here to pick up the ball that you dropped. Oh, mate, I didn't care if you had a whole group. Dissing Hit Row. Let's go. Let's go. Shots fired. What are they? Are they saying go to the back? Where's the ginger kids? He is the green shirt guy of this community. Where's the ginger kids? He's always there. And I can't see him. All you've been doing is disrespecting me back. I've been trying to give you some good advice. Ah, Cedric's stepping up to Trick. I don't know why. Tonight is on. So Cedric against Trick tonight. Oh, lovely shot there by Trick. Big right hand. Down goes Ashanti. Smashing him all over the place. Ah, straight to the outside. Referees are coming down. Cedric walking over. Be worried, mate. This match is going to go, man. This match is going to go. Cedric Alexander. Granted, it's been a long time since that crowd were chanting, sign him up, sign him up. But he did get signed. And he's been living his life in catering. He should bang. He should bang tonight. Here's Ethan Page. Straight up, Trick has got massive star power, said Mr. B. That's how you deal with that, says Art King. Black Gable, says Frankie. Maybe. Maybe. He can go. He can definitely go. Looks like the champ is a little sensitive. Here is Josh Briggs. There's spat on the floor. Someone might slip on that. Oh, man, it'd be so... Oh! From behind is Brooks. No DQ match. He just spat on the floor. I was like, man, it'd be so funny if someone in the background just slipped over. There was someone in the background. They didn't slip over. It was Brooks Jensen, and we might be about to get underway with our first match. Brooks versus Briggs. Bell has sounded. We are underway. No DQ match. Straight over to the outside goes Brooks Jensen. We've got some chairs at around ringside. Brooks Jensen goes face first into the barricades. And boom, over the barricades. This is a good start, man. This is a really good start. I love, like, bringing out Trick. Then bringing out Cedric. That's an interesting match. It's one of those matches you go, oh, I've never thought about that, but that bangs in my mind. And then we go straight into this. And now the chant is NXT. Briggs grabbing Brooks, was still by the barricade, over the barricades. This is serious, says Booker T. Look at him wrestling in, like, dirty Converse. How do you even wrestle in dirty Converse? Oh! Converse are not the most comfortable of shoes. Wrestling in them is, it looks like he's off to a gig or something. Boom, into a ring post. Ah! He's got him by the throat. Brooks trying to grab. We want tables. Choke slam. Oh, mate. That commentary table just broke so satisfyingly. Oh, my God. That was such a satisfying commentary table break. Oh, my God. That was so good. Oh, sometimes they get slammed on and then the table just sort of like... Blah. This one, it just absolutely drove him through it. Just drove him through it. It's one of the most satisfying table breaks I've seen in a long, long time. Hot start to NXT. Hot start. Let's go. Oh my God, said Joe. Daze, serious question. Why do we hype NXT talent up when they get to WWE, we stop giving two shizzes? Well, I think it's a little bit... Well, I don't think we stop giving shizzes. I think it's just that we get excited by people because you can see the potential. And they become... I think you get excited about what the future is going to hold. Like, oh my God, can you imagine when they get to the main roster? We can do this match, we can do that match, we can do this match, we can do that match. So, like Trick, we're looking at, say, let's use Trick as an example. We're bigging him up, we're hyping him up, we're really excited, we love his music, good matches, really good on the mic. I mean, he's clear, he's got some lovely little kill shots. I love that hit row line. Like, you look at him, you go, would I change anything about his ring gear? No. Would I change anything about his promos? No. Would I change anything about his wrestling? No. I mean, okay, could he have a few more bangers to his name? Yeah, but then so could everyone. Like, there's nothing I would change. It's all there. Everything's there. Everything's there. And you just get excited about seeing them. And then, you know, when they get called up, then obviously, you know, we start telling stories with them that maybe, you know, look at Ilya at the moment. Ilya, still love Ilya, totally on board with Ilya, but, you know, it's quite clear that he's not in the place where he's the guy at the moment. You know, we're using him, he's putting on banging matches, but he's not getting those wins, he's not moving forward, it's not the time for him to do that. So, if anything, you just find yourself getting a bit like, oh, come on, you know, frustrated. So it's not that you jump off the hype train, it's just that the situation changes, you know? Like, okay. But then, you know, when we do start getting going with him, people will start getting really right back on boards. But I think, you know, Braun has gone up, he's killing it. Ilya's gone up, he's killing it. Lyra's gone up, she's killing it. Still loving all of what they're contributing, so... I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think of someone that we loved in NXT that we've given up on now on the main roster. I'm trying to think of a name. If anyone's got a name, feel free to put a name in. Someone that we were loving in NXT that we've just given up on now. Who would that be? Can't really think of a name. But my answer would be that, well, the situation changes, the booking changes. You know, you're a big fish in a small pond, you become a big fish in a big pond when you go to the main roster. Liv has gotten much better, says Sean. Still epic picture in picture. Oh, I don't have picture in picture. I don't have it. Here we go. We've got, look at this. Josh Briggs grabbing the top of the commentary table. Oh, look at his back. He's got a mark on his back. Oh, wow. So we're seeing what was happening during picture-in-picture. There's stairs in the ring. Right now, we've got the top of the commentary table actually in the ring. Oh, he's going to slingshot him into the bottom of it. This is going to be a good spot. Boom! He put his hands out to obviously kind of protect it. Probably just protected it a little bit too much. I mean, you can't really have a go at him for not actually smashing his face into it, you know, but probably just took a bit too much away from it. Strike one. Ah, we got the wrong camera angle there. Now he's saying strike two. Boom! And now, I don't know why they're really talking to the commentators, but both of them, kendo stick shots here by, Brooks. Big, look at the marks. Look at the marks on his body. Do you know, this reminds me of Michin against Jada Parker. Do you remember that great street fight that they had? Look at the marks. Oh, my God. Right now, Brooks Jensen has got Briggs. We got the ring steps. He's trying to get him up. He's on top of those ring steps. No joy. Oh, that was good. That was good. And a club to the back of the head. Now he's looking to pick him up. Suplex. Oh, I mean, that's going to have hurt Briggs as well. Oh, my God. Look at the marks. Look at the marks on his back. Look at the marks on his back. Oh, my God. What a great way to open. What a great way to open. Look at that. Suplexing him onto the steps. NXT. NXT. That was a holy shiz moment, said Kian. This is a banger, says Toby. Blue Shirt said, this match is straight up brutality. Slap coming in there by Brooks. Forearm strike back and forth by these two. I cannot believe the marks on the body of Briggs. That just so adds to the match, seeing how brutal this match has been, because they're real. They both kick at each other. Both guys go down. Here, they're both going for kendo sticks. They both wallop each other with kendo sticks. They both go down. Oh, wow. Wow. This is awesome. This is awesome. As I said, it so reminds me of Meech and Jada from a few weeks back. They are cooking. They are absolutely cooking. Oh, big right hand there by Briggs. Brooks goes down. He's looking over at him. He's pleading now. Brooks is pleading. Briggs. He's got a chair. Oh, no. Sean Spears arrives. No. I didn't need Sean Spears. Boom! But it allows Brooks to use a chair. And again. Ah. He's wailing on him with a chair. Oh my God, that chair it's bending. I think Briggs was like pleading for a second there. Now he's going to look to DDT him onto the chair. Brooks stares at Sean Spears. Drives Briggs onto the chair and picks up the victory in an amazing match. I was worried when Sean came out that it was going to really take away. It's added a little bit of story. I mean, it feels like them two are now going to join forces. I was just so enjoying this contest. Brutal. Brutal and brilliant. NXT at its very best. Wow. You ain't getting that. If you are new to NXT, you ain't getting that every week. But you will get it once in a while. There is Sean Spears smiling at Brooks Jensen. Briggs is down in the middle of the ring. Sean telling Brooks he did good there. Here's Nathan. Here's Axiom. And here's the Rascals. So they were talking to these two backstage. We obviously know where this is going because of Wrestle votes. That would have been an insane match. Nathan and Axiom. That didn't make much sense. Didn't they just say, we've never lost these tag titles, we could do it tonight, and then all of a sudden it somehow just became a 6-person Okay, here's Lexis King. Lexis King making his way down to the ring. I'll be down for MSK to take on Nathan Axiom. That match will bang. In fact, the 6-man match tonight will bang. I forget who he's facing. Lexis King is he's definitely taking on someone. Definitely. Oh, Eddie, is it? Eddie Thorpe. Right. Yeah, wow. What a match. What an open. What a start. Huge match, said K-Dub. Who won? Says Jadam. It was won by Brooks Jensen. I kind of like Lexis King, said Tony. Yeah, he's growing on me. Tony said, what stories or ideas would you have implemented to improve AEW? I'm not the right person to ask because I'm not watching. So I don't know. I don't know what stories we're doing. I haven't watched. Outside of a couple of clips, I have not seen anything from AEW in 2024. So I am 7 months behind. Thorpe is boring in NXT, says James. I Am Your Father said, this episode is going to be great. Paul said, Rascals are fire in NXT. So far, wow. K-Dub said, Lexus has grown on me. Gringo said, Raw on Sci-Fi. Raw on Sci-Fi for the next couple of weeks. And Denzel, shout out to you. Denzel Burks said, I like this good cop, bad cop from Cedric and Ashanti. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't quite know where we're going with those two because we haven't seen much of them in NXT. So I haven't got a read yet as to where we're going, what that's going to look like moving forward. But I really like Cedric. I think he is someone that he's in an interesting spot because he's not a main event talent. He's like a mid-carder. But he is someone that has the ability to have some really great matches. Him against Trick, if given time and without shenanigans. I would expect Trick to win, but I would expect it to be a match that you honestly rave about. I would expect it to be, I don't want to say Elia Bron levels, but I would expect it to be not a million miles behind, to be honest, because both of them can go. You know, Trick can put on great matches if he's got the right dance partner. And Cedric, I mean, he was just in that Cruiserweight Classic back in like 2016. But, I mean, that is 8 years ago now. And then, you know, 205 Live, he had some really good matches. But, God, how that guy is still employed. I mean, I'm pleased he is. I don't want him losing his job. But, I mean, we've just done nothing with him. We've just done nothing with him. I mean, he was in, like, the Hurt business for a little bit. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what we do with him going forward. I mean, clearly it looks like he's in a team with Ashanti, but I don't know. Will they work as a tag team? Are they going to be a tag team? Are they going to just support each other as singles wrestlers? I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna move forward with it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we do. Ashanti, I just don't have any read of. I've not seen much of Ashanti, to be honest. I mean, he was in Hit Row, weren't he? And when that died, we just didn't do anything with him. And I don't remember much of him before Hit Row. I think he was doing a few matches before Hit Row, but not much. So he's not someone that's I've got a great read on. I can't say he's an amazing wrestler or anything like that. So, oh, look, they're watching Stephanie Vacour. She is incredible. So they're watching Stephanie footage, her against Isla from the Mexican shows. Here's Lash. Here's Jakara. The Bougie Bully. I do love the Bougie Bully name. So we got Sol Ruka. We got Carmen. We've got Lola, Jakara, and the Bougie Bully. Goodbye. Okay, here's Eddie Thorpe. I think this is the same entrance that he had before. I didn't know if we may have changed his entrance and his presentation because he's doing this kind of DJ thing now. I think it's the same. Show us your best designs for the Ultimate SummerSlam t-shirt. Use SummerSlam shirt contest to enter. It's a good idea. Okay, Eddie Thorpe, let's see what he's going to bring. Julia could make her debut this week on the Japan tour, says Phil. Yeah, she could. She could. Okay, here we go then. Lexis King, Eddie Thorpe. Let's end this poll so that people don't get confused. And knee to the midsection there by Lexis King. Something just came off. Boom, clothesline, down goes Eddie Thorpe. Lexis King going for the cover, but Eddie Thorpe kicks out. Big shots raining down there by Lexis King. 2-week special next Tuesday. Great American Bash. That's what we're working towards. Let's go. Next Tuesday and the Tuesday after. Great American Bash. Brilliant, brilliant score. This has picked up a great 76%, which I think puts it above any of the matches we saw on Raw. I think that means that this opening match was rated higher than Braun and Ilya and higher than the tag match we got on Raw. I don't think that's unfair, to be honest. I thought it was brilliant, the match we just saw. Right, this is Lexis against Eddie. Eddie going for a cover as Lexis kicks out. Again, is grabbing a hold of Lexis. Lexis driving Eddie back into the corner. Coming to a city near you on Thursday, Osaka, Japan. On Friday, Tokyo, Japan. You know, the cities near you. On Saturday, Tokyo, Japan. Scan that if you... Monday, we're in Minnesota. Friday, we're in Cleveland, Ohio. Coming to a city near you. None of those cities are near me. Looking for a DDT. Super kick there by Lexis. Lands it as Eddie Thorpe goes down. Lexis against the ropes. Boom! Collides into Eddie Thorpe. He's got him. Coronation couldn't get it. Reversed by Eddie. Oh, DDT connects. 1, 2, 3. Eddie Thorpe picks up a win in quite a quick little contest. The problem with the Braun-Ilya match was great, but the ending let it down. So that may have affected the score, says James. That's a good point. I will say, though, that I thought it was interesting ending with ref stoppage. I would like more matches to end with ref stoppage because it is a legitimate finish. I think if you are fighting and the referee deems that you just cannot go on, it's not how I would have finished that match, but I'm not a ref stoppage hater. Big clubbing blows here by Lexis, who is absolutely livid at just losing that match. Into the ring steps goes Eddie Thorpe. The arm is being put between the ring steps and the ring posts. Lexis King has grabbed his scepter. Boom! I mean, you could hear that it hit the ring steps, but I think he broke the top off it as well. He wrecked his cane, his scepter. I wonder if it did catch his hand at all. I mean, I feel like he just hit the ring steps, of course. You could hear the thud. You could hear the sound of it hitting the ring steps, but I wonder if it did catch his hand at all. Here's Trick. Oh. Oh, there's Pete Dunne again in the background. Why is he hanging around NXT? You think so? Figure it out. Pete walks away. The hell? No. No one... Why is there so much animosity towards Trick? Okay, here we got Metaphor. Dum bum. Here's Oro Mensah, Lash, and Jakara. No Amdar, of course. Okay, we haven't got long with these polls. You've got to get your thoughts in quick as we are moving on, moving forward, moving up. Here's Oro Mensah taking on Ashanti the Adonis. This will be an interesting match because I just don't know how this is going to go. I just don't know what to expect. Right. That was 79 good, 9% bad, 8% great, 3% all-time. That's going to come out as good 91%. Done. Ashanti against Oro is our next match. Friday, 8/7 Central. Daze, if it was Nick Khan who had done the releases and they have a new team that deal with contracts as Spartan Major, what releases? The Bobby releases. Has that been confirmed yet? That they're, like, done? I haven't seen anything. I'm just looking on Fightful Select. 5 hours ago, latest on Delta. Also an update on Warner Brothers Discovery and AEW. Sources close to the situation say an offer has likely been made, but stress there is no agreement in place as of today. Fightful heard there was an offer months ago from Warner Brothers Discovery to AEW, but it hadn't been agreed on and was still being negotiated. Latest on Delta. Delta Brady is on her way to WWE. No start date at the Performance Center is known at the time of writing, but it is expected she will start along with Julia and Stephanie Vacour. Once she has settled into life in the US. So those are the stories on Fightful Select. We had a Nike crocodile pull out of our local river 2 years ago, Center Creek. What does that mean? People released it from a pet. Stupid and irresponsible. A Nike crocodile. I'm sure Warner Brothers will still show AEW, says Tony. Last I heard, Lashley is on an injury list, says Travis. Pete Dunne likes hanging around cool kids, said Cowboys fan. Getting Apollo Creed vibes from Trick when he speaks. Apollo Creed vibes. Pete Dunne is a bully to hang around NXT. Younger talent, said Mr. B. Right, we are at commercial break. If you are just joining us, we've had half an hour. We've had a quarter of the show. It's been pretty good. The start was really good. That last match, there wasn't loads to it. But, yeah, pretty good. We're just at commercial break now. NXT only has decent numbers because it's WWE light, says Puff Dutch. Jack, hello. Paul said, what are your thoughts on Joe Hendry now you've seen him? It is honestly had no effect on me. But then I've not seen him in a singles match. I mean, I've seen him in a battle royal get eliminated in like 5 seconds. And I've seen him in a tag match where, apart from like being the hot tag and getting like the big crowd reaction with him being tagged in, I can't say there was anything there. So I don't know. I don't get the hype, but then I feel like, isn't that just always the way with memes, you know? I feel like these things get blown out of proportion. They get blown really big. Like the way everyone talks about him and all the memes and everything, you'd think is like the greatest thing since sliced bread. I feel like then when you watch him, you're probably gonna be disappointed if you've never seen him before. Like I don't think there's a way that he can match the hype, you know? He'd have to be one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He'd have to be like Osprey to kind of reach the level of just excitement that everyone's got. So I don't see it. I think I get it because we've done stuff like that in WWE as well, you know? I mean, is it a bit Walk with Elias-esque, you know? WWE stands for Walk with Elias, and like Elias was playing gigs and Elias was releasing music, and I don't know, is it a bit along those lines where you kind of build something up? I mean, he's got himself over. I mean, what else can you say? He's done absolutely everything above and beyond what you're meant to do. I mean, all you can do is praise that, really, and go fair play. I mean, there's nothing to criticize there. He has absolutely delivered in regards to what he had to do. He had to get himself over, and he has done that on a level that is rarely seen. So in that regard, you go, well done. Well done. But I do feel like someone that's not in on the joke. I do feel like I feel like there's this thing that's happened in TNA and everyone's enjoyed it and everything. And now obviously like it's leaking over into NXT, but I feel like the hype train has left me behind, if you know what I mean. Like all I'm seeing is what has been shown, and what has been shown it's not been anything spectacular. So I don't know. I don't get it. It doesn't bother me if he's on the show, not on the show. I don't know. For me, it's I don't know. I think this TNA relationship's one that I might struggle with a little bit, because a lot of people like say the Rascals and Joe Hendry, they're people that I don't have any feelings about. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not criticizing TNA. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just being honest in that I don't watch TNA, so I don't have any feelings towards these people. These people don't mean anything to me. I suppose Jordan is different, because I've seen loads of Jordan Grace and I'm really impressed, and you can see why WWE would want her. So Jordan coming in was exciting. I don't know who else I would feel excited about coming from TNA, because I just don't know their roster. So I suppose I'm maybe coming from it from a slightly different perspective. My perspective is a little different to others that maybe watch both brands. If you watch both brands, I would imagine you're just flipping loving it. This is just Christmas, birthday, and New Year. But for me, I don't. And so for me, if we don't get any TNA people on the show, it's fine. If we do, I'll watch them and, you know, see what they bring to the table. And as I said, I watched the Rascals. I was impressed. I thought they were good, really good. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know who I would be excited to see from TNA. I mean, I suppose if Hammerstone came in, that would be good. I've seen a few of his matches from like MLW, so that could be interesting. I heard that Speedball Mike Bailey had a banger with Osprey, so if he came in, I'd be interested to see what he was all about. I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to have a look through their roster again, to be honest. But this is why I think we can't really do NXT TNA show just yet. I think you've got to introduce some of that talent first. You know, we need to sort of get used to seeing them. Boom. I'll tell you what, Oro's doing a great job here. Springboards, moonsault, and he lands onto Ashanti. Oro Mensah going for a kick to the back of the heads. He grabs hold of that top rope and spine buster there by Ashanti. 1, 2, shoulder up. Nick Nemeth just won the TNA Championship, said Sis. He was Dolph Ziggler. Well, I'd be excited if he came in, but I've seen plenty of Dolph Ziggler. So, I mean, if Dolph came back, you know, that would be a moment, but I don't know that that's a moment that I'm, like, desperate for. I've seen lots of Dolph, and I think he probably needs to go away and sort of refresh himself. I suppose like Cody did. Cody kind of got a bit stale, left, reinvented himself, and then came back as like a massive star. I sort of feel like Dolph needs to try and find a way of doing the same, really. But perhaps he's just not thinking of coming back, I don't know. Perhaps he's quite happy just being out there and doing some different things. Perhaps, I don't know. Because I don't think he's massively changed his gimmick, to be honest. From the little clips that I've seen, he still seems to be kind of presenting himself like the same way. It's a win by Oro, by the way. Oro's going to be on the microphone here. It was not a bad little match. It was very quick. Goes like this. 1, 2, 3. So he's trying to get the crowd to chant 1, 2, 3. So Oro wants to get his hands on Ethan Page. That's been building ever since Ethan came in because he attacked Oro. I saw what you did. Oh, this is Ren. Here she is. She sent it. I need this situation dealt with. I've got a match tonight. She needs to be killed. I'd better not lose. We've got to watch this, says Riz. Okay, well, there we go. She is pulling the shots, really. She's telling No Quarter Catch crew. I'd kill her. I'd have her killed. I'm just being honest. I would have her killed. I would say the same thing. It would be dope if Nick Dolph could revamp himself and then return, says Manny. No, I like Dolph. I mean, some of my favorite moments in recent years, I say recent, have involved Dolph, like when Sting came in and he was like the last man in that Survivor Series match. Oh my God, I love that. His cash-in is still my favorite cash-in. Right, seeing him with AJ and Big E, like I loved that group, and seeing him with that cash-in, loved that. So, I mean, honestly, some of my favorite moments, going back 10 years, were like Dolph moments, but it was just a shame that, I don't know, they just didn't see it in him. It seemed to just run out of a bit of steam or something, but it's one of those, you know, it happens. You go away, you get a new coat of paint, you come back. Look at Drew. You know, Drew was obviously in a very different place before he left. He left, kind of reinvented himself, put on some size, ends up getting re-signed and is right back at the top of WWE. Cody leaves and goes to New Japan, does all of that, represents himself as the American Nightmare, comes back, boom. You know, he's right at the very top. I'm not saying that Dolph's going to be able to return and be right at the very top, but I would like to see him try some stuff. Let's see. You know, you've got the ball now, kid. Try some stuff. What do you want to do? I can't imagine there's anyone at TNA that's really telling Dolph, like, this is how we want you to be presented. I feel like he's going to have much more freedom to express himself in TNA than he would under a Vince McMahon WWE, you know? So, cool if he comes back. I've no issue with him, but I'd be more excited if he was doing something different. So yeah, I'd have to have a look and see who else is there. Moose and the System would be good, says Paul. Mr. Rage Bomb said, I think it would be funny if Nick's attire and attitude changed depending on if he was in WWE or TNA. Any thoughts on Mike Santana joining? Not really, to be honest. I don't know. How old is he? I mean, he's he's younger than I thought, you know. He's younger, he's 33. Do you know, I honestly thought he was like 39, 40. He's way younger than I thought he was. So he's currently signed to TNA. I don't know what you do with him, to be honest. I mean, I'm so used to seeing him with Ortiz that, I mean, maybe he is reinventing himself as like a solo guy now, but in my mind, he's a tag guy, he's a faction guy. You put him in a tag team, you put him in a faction. So I would have to know where I was putting him. I'd have to know what my plan was for him before I look to bring him in. He may be better than that. I may be doing him a disservice. He might be someone that can, you know, carry his weight in the singles division, but I don't know. I still see him as being a tag guy. So I'd want to find him a partner, or I'd want to find him a faction. SummerSlam kickoff show next Friday in front of the Rocket Mortgage Field House. We'll be doing that. Okay, here's Carly Bright with Kendall Gray. Haven't seen loads of this girl. I think I saw her at the house show that I went to, though. Carly Bright versus Ren Sinclair. Ren said, I had better not lose this match. There's the Riz. She's got some popcorn. There's Luca, friend of the channel. Okay, here we go then. We're really getting through these matches, aren't we? Really getting through these matches. So that last match got a good rating. It was good 68, great 21, all-time 8, bad 2. So that has picked up a good 98%. Yeah, I agree with that. I thought that last match was better than the Eddie Thorpe match and Lexis King. Okay, so Carly Bright against Ren. Ren grabbing a hold of the arm of Carly. Taking the leg, grabbing the ankle. That's lovely. Lovely. And she's turned Carly over. I wonder what Raw will do on Sci-Fi. I can't remember the last time it went over to Sci-Fi. It's going to be there for the next 2 weeks. I wonder how that will affect things. Nice reversal. Against the ropes, over the top. Oh, grabs the leg again, looking for another. Oh no, thought she was going for an ankle lock. She's not. Lovely. Submission, pulling back. Yeah, that's nice. I'll tell you what, Charlie Dempsey is liking what he's seeing here. Tavian at ringside, and Miles as well, and Carly in a whole heap of trouble here. She flips over though, manages to get out of it. Ren's in a bit of a bad situation. Ren's trying to... Oh, she just manages to escape. Drop kick, single leg drop kick by Carly. Nice takeover. She's got the arm as Ren tries to get back up to her feet. Over against the ropes, looking for a shot over the other side. Crossbody down, over reversal. Lovely by Ren. Kick out by Carly. Carmen and Sol Ruka are going to be taking on Lash and Jakara. Again, against the ropes goes Carly. Ren, middle of the ring, charges over. Shoulder tackle. Against the ropes again. Boom. Bulldog. 1, 2. Shoulder up. There's some signs in the crowd. We've got Ren signs in the crowd. We got some Renoholics. Missile drop kick there by Carly. Carly going over, looking for the cover. 1, 2, and Charlie puts the foot on the rope. Oh, this is that other girl. Oh, Kendall suplexes Miles. Oh my God. There's a roll up in the ring. 1, 2. Ren kicks out. Oh, mate. 1, 2. And again, Ren has to kick out. Miles doesn't know what's happened to him. Into the corner goes Ren. Ren moves out the way. Roll up there. 1, 2, 3. And Charlie helps Ren pick up the victory. He should have her killed now. He should have her killed. Look at Charlie. Why doesn't he look at his face? Tony's like, look at his face. She's dancing away. I did it. I don't get it. I mean, they bumped off Damon Kemp. I mean, that ain't an easy person to bump off, is it? Why can't you bump off Ren Sinclair? We got Hank and Tank. Oh no, we've got Nathan and Axiom having a little heated conversation in the background. Here's Javon. I heard you need a third tonight, and I ain't doing nothing. Young OG. Let's go. Let's flipping go, mate. Trick Williams. Oh, yeah, him against Cedric. That'll be good. Next? Oh, my God. Oh, it's next. Trick versus Cedric next. Oh, my God. Please be good, Cedric. Please be good. You used to be good. I'm sure you're still good. Tricking ain't easy. I don't think I want a tricking ain't easy shirt. I want a trick shirt, but I don't want to wear a shirt that says tricking ain't easy. I don't know what I want. I want a trick shirt, but not that one. Oba. NXT shop. Tonight only. Free shipping on qualifying orders. Let's go. What? Not the main event, says I Am Your Father. No, apparently not. James said that sharks being tested positive for cocaine story in Brazil water is wild. Haven't seen it. The sharks testing positive for cocaine. Wow. I'm sure AEW will be great someday with great viewership at a great time. It'll be great, says Tony K. Joe said Trick and Cedric is going to carry this match. What, both of them? Take care of the Ren problem, said Charles. Yeah, I know. Yeet that Trick. Oh, imagine that tag team. Where's the breathing room? 5 matches back to back in an hour, said Big Time. They're just getting through them, aren't they? They're just showing off the talent that's coming through. I mean, look, Brooks and Briggs was awesome. Oro and Ashanti was okay. Eddie and Lexis was too short. Ren, Carly probably didn't need any longer. I don't know where Carly is, really. Ren, I've heard, is a hot talent. And she looked good there. Carly looked all right there. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like with some of these, you probably don't want to give them too much time. I don't know that Carly needs a longer match than that on TV at this point. Motor City Machine Guns might show up in the 6-man tag main event, said Jordan. I'm surprised there's not a whoop that trick shirt, said Kader. You're fired, said Film Watcher. You're fired. Daze, thoughts on the Next In Line program? Love it. I didn't love it, and I now love it. I didn't love it because what I've always loved about NXT is that you go and get indie talent, you put them in NXT, and then they shine. You know, I mean, people tell me that Ren did great outside of NXT. Roxanne was doing great outside of NXT. I mean, you can see it with Roxanne. I think we'll see it with Ren. You know, Charlie, obviously the son of William Regal, came through NXT UK. You know, if you look back at the history of NXT, where you bring in your Kevin Owenses, your Finn Balor's, your Asukas, and look at what we're doing now, bringing in Julia, Stephanie Vacour, right? These aren't women that I know a great deal about, but I'm excited to see them because I've seen bits of them doing the rounds online, and there's a lot of excitement around them, right? And they're going to be at a higher level than those that come through the Next In Line program. So for me, historically, I did not like Next In Line because you have to watch a lot more development, right? Which sounds like, oh, well, that'll be fun, but it's not. Because, like, you're watching people just do very basic things, and you're watching matches that are very short, and you're watching people stumble on the microphone, and, you know, you're watching people learn, basically. Whereas before, people used to go to the indies to learn, and then we would bring them in, and they would come in at a much higher level. So this is why NXT cooked, like, 10 years ago, when you've got, like, this cream of the indie talent, right? But Next In Line, as time has gone by, has really shown what it can produce with Bianca Belair and Tripp Williams and Oba Femi, and you can't look at those names and say that it's not worked. It's produced some of the biggest stars. NXT has shown that it can take people that have got no previous wrestling experience, and it can just make gold. I mean, it can just make absolute gold. Might take longer, and it might not be an easy watch at times, but the end destination is absolutely worth it. I think it's brilliant. Okay, here's a Thea Hale sit-down interview. But yeah, when it first came in, I wasn't keen. But they've changed my mind. The results have changed my mind. Okay, here's Thea. They've seen what I've gone through. I've almost grown up. They trust me to make a decision for myself now. So she's getting a title shot. We don't expect her to win, or at least I don't. People. Ridge empowers me to be myself. I feel like we're seeing a different side of you. I'm not just trying to win this title for just me. I'm trying to win it for all of Chase U. Okay. So, Thea Hale, Roxanne, it was okay. There wasn't really much to it. Roxanne and Thea, NXT Women's Championship. Next week, Great American Bash. I mean, this music every time. I wonder if it'll ever not hit. I wonder if I'll get used to it. I wonder if it'll ever just be like, okay, here he is. Who's better, Thea Ripley or Rhea Hale? Says it's a big question. Someone had to ask it. This is about to be good. That's what Booker says. Yes. I think Thea is crazy on TV. But I saw a picture of her on the beach. Did you see it? Don't know. Don't think so. Don't think so. Meek said, I am thankful for my struggle because without, I wouldn't have stumbled across my strength. That's nice. I like that. Daze, that will happen when Trick gets death rebelled. No, James. They can't. That would be the biggest disaster in the history of WWE if they death rebelled his entrance music. Oh my god. Oh my god. Here's Cedric. Did you get a chance to watch Spoiler Warning? No, I didn't. I don't get a chance to watch it, unfortunately. It's normally on like as I'm setting up the stream, so I probably could try and get into a habit of putting it on in the background, but I'm normally like trying to get Wrestling Escape Pod set up or Raw set up or stuff set up. I saw it. It must not be on WrestleFap, said Rare Breeds. Well, I've not seen it. Isn't she like young? How old is she? 20? I mean, that's fine in the UK, but I don't know. Is that all right in America? Don't bother me. I'm in the UK. I don't give a flip. I abide by UK laws. Okay, here we go. Trick Cedric. Start of the second hour. Trick in the middle of the ring. Cedric getting around the back of Trick, taking Trick down. Imagine if Cedric wins. Clean. These two rolling over as Trick's trying to get up to his feet. Did you hear what Shawn Michaels said? He said that Trick is not trying to get up to the main roster and just compete. He wants to go there and be the guy. So he's in no rush to get to that main roster. He just wants to have more matches, more experience, more repetitions, different scenarios. He rolls through. Kip up. Imagine that, right? Imagine that you knew that you weren't very good at something and you could go to Shawn and be like, listen, I am struggling with my live promos. I need some help on that. And Shawn's like, I got you. And so, like, you just hit that in the Performance Center and then on NXT, they give you a live promo. And maybe one of the trainers comes up to you and is like, I want to see you do this sequence because I think they'd be really good. And it's like, okay, let's give it a run. And you do it and they're like, put that in. This will happen, I've no doubt, right? Put this sequence in your match during the show. I want to see how you do it. And they'll put like sequence of moves in. And so we're just watching the match and we're seeing them go through like the motions. But there will be stuff that they've specifically been working on, you know? It's always funny to me, like, to think about wrestlers going to the back. Like, really like excited because they landed a move during their match. Like, I did it, I landed it. We're not even thinking about it. We're just talking about who's won and what it means for the story and all that stuff. They're talking about, you know, I landed this move, or I pulled that sequence off, or I nailed it, or maybe they got it wrong, you know? In my mind, they go to the back and they focus on like specific moments and things that have happened. Cedric might focus on that little botch that just occurred, where he sort of crashed on his head momentarily. He goes to the outside. Boom! Trick gets planted on the edge of the ring. Cedric in control at the moment. Goes over, grabs Trick. Slams him again onto the edge of the ring. Can Trick get back in the matchup? Sounds like a Sol Ruka finisher moment. Oh yeah, imagine when she first hit that. Imagine she did that in training and then she finally did it in front of the live crowd. Like, yeah. Cedric botch already. Shake my head, says Charles. Well, I'm gonna let him off. I mean, like, when was the last time we flipping saw him wrestle? I mean, if there is a little bit of rust there, I can't say I would be shocked. If I run NXT, it would be consistent, said Mr. Quake. Wrestler Andy said, Daze, what era would you like to have watched a developmental show in? Imagine NXT during the new generation era. It would have been full of Attitude Era stars. It was different though, wasn't it? Because, I mean, Triple H and Stone Cold, they both came from WCW. They didn't come from a developmental. They came from a different promotion. So if you did have developmental in New Generation, you may have had The Rock, because he didn't come from another promotion. So you would have had like The Rock and like some of the mid-carders. I'm trying to think of big names. Kurt came from the Olympics, didn't he? Mark Henry came from being a strongman. I don't think... Did Mark Henry go to a developmental first? He may have done. I don't think Kurt did. I don't think Kurt did. I want to have a look at that. Where was Kurt before he was... Yeah, developmental. What's it say? Despite having success as an amateur wrestler, Kurt held professional wrestling in low regards. He rejected a contract by WWF due to his unwillingness to accept scripted losses. Love that. Angle trained at Dory Funk Jr.'s Funkin' Dojo. Within a week, he was wrestling in front of live audiences. His debut match occurred in a developmental territory of WWA. So, yeah, he was in WWA, World Wrestling Alliance. So, Kurt would have been one. How long was he there for? Oh, he might have been there for about 6 months or so, you know. Yeah, that's the problem, though, is that the system we've got now is not the system we've always had. So you're not going to have had everyone in developmental. So you kind of need to think back as to who was around at that time. How did they come into the business? So what would the developmental have actually looked like? I mean, I suppose... it's hard to not think about that OVW class, isn't it? With John Cena and Randy Orton and Batista and Brock Lesnar and, you know, like that class that came through. I don't know that it was ever better than that. I don't know that there was ever a group of talent that was better than that. And that stuff may be on the network. I actually don't know if like all of that really good OVW stuff is there or not. But that's That's probably about as good as it is. But as you said, new generation around 96. Then you would have some people that went on and came through in like 97 and the start of the Attitude Era, or 97. People would have come in around 98, 99. But yeah, I think that OVW class, or even like NXT, I mean, honestly, the stuff we were getting in 2013, 2014, it was so good. It's hard to imagine like it being better than Black and Gold's NXT, which was just so good. With the 4 Horsewomen and Balor and Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Shinsuke coming in, and it was so good. Boom. Big shot there by Trick. Goes for a kick. Kick to the midsection by Cedric. Forearm strike against the ropes. Picked up. Slam face first. Trick Williams getting back up to his feet. Another big boot. That was huge. 1, 2. Shoulder up. Shoulder up by Cedric. Hulk Hogan invented wrestling, says Matter. Here we've got Trick going over, trying to grab Cedric. What? That Trick. He's going up. Ooh, take over there by Cedric. Nah, you ain't going to get a pin off that. All he did was take him down. Tries to pick up Trick. Round the back goes Cedric. Back elbow there by Trick. Cedric grabs it. Oh, driver! Wow! Oh, jeez! Wow, a driver by Cedric Alexander. Look how close his head was as well. Jesus! Right now, he's got Trick, middle of the ring. Trick trying to block that suplex. Kick coming in by Trick. Another kick there by Trick. Cedric goes down. Cedric, middle of the ring. Trick against the ropes. Comes crashing down on Cedric. Cedric rolls through. Referee was just having a word with Cedric. I think he was just checking he was okay. Cedric moves out the way. Nice. Top rope. Inzaguri getting through. No, gets caught. Boom. 1, 2. Oh, I tell you what, he's only just kicking out. Cedric's not looking as crisp as he used to. I don't know if he's been knocked a bit silly or something here. The ref keeps checking on him. Crowd are chanting, whoop that Trick, as Trick charges over, goes for a big boot. Cedric rolls him up. Kick coming in there by Cedric. He's looking to pick up Trick and plant him. Going for the cover. 1, 2. Kick out by Trick. Cedric grabbing the arm, looking for an arm bar. He's trying to lock it in. No joy at the moment. 1, 2. Kick out. He has been injured, said Art King. Yes. Big boot there by Trick. Trick charging over. Big knee strike. Cedric turned inside out. 2, 3. Trick gets the win. Yeah, Cedric not looking as crisp as he has in the past. That could just be ring rust. It could just be the, inactivity. Trick picking up the victory. I love that driver. It was very close, though. Outstanding match, said Mr. B. Trick 1, said Joe. What that Trick? What that Trick? Pete Dunne attacks Trick. Pete Dunne's attack trick. Crowd are booing. Trick down. You still haven't figured it out. Oh. Pete Dunne stomping on Trick. Pete Dunne is making lots of enemies. So's Trick. Okay, Ethan wants to see Ava. We've got Robert Stone and Stevie Turner. I just want to get rid of that pest Oro Mensa. The world. Robert Stone is sort of putting his foot in it a little bit here. What is wrong with you? Here's Sol Ruka. Pete is a better heel than babyface, said A. Jobson. I like him as a tweener, to be honest. I like him as a tweener. I kind of like him as that. Just shrugging, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. Yeah, like that kind of cool heel. But he'll do some good stuff as well. Like, just sort of, it's Pete. Pete will do what Pete wants to do. I agree. I don't like him as an out-and-out babyface. Okay, Sol Ruka and Carmen coming up next. Days, this NXT has been pretty good for a developmental show. Jamming 7-8 matches, featuring a lot of green talent in quick matches, just doesn't move me. It makes it harder to remember anything. I don't know really that they want you necessarily remembering everything. I think some of this is about giving the talent reps and having them go out there and get the experience of being in a match. That's the issue, really. You're balancing a couple of different things. You're balancing trying to put on an entertaining show, but this is also developmental, so it's difficult. It's very difficult because, like, you're not wrong, there is a show and there are ratings that have to be achieved and we need viewers, and so you've got to put on a good product. But then equally, there is talent there that's learning, and the only way they'll learn is by being put on the show. So this is why I think you get a lot of these kind of matches. I think they start off with a big match at the start. They've given you a big match to try and start the second hour. They'll give you a big main event. And I suppose the matches in the middle is a bit of a mixed bag, really, of some being storyline development, some being, let's check out this talent like Carly Bright, you know. Let's check out Carly Bright. Let's check out Ashanti. Let's get Eddie Thorpe back on the show, and let's see where we are with Eddie. So it's a bit of a... It's not really the same as Raw and SmackDown. We're kind of juggling an extra element when it comes to NXT. I mean, I think if you was to forget that, you could create a better show. I think you could create a better show, but then are you actually not developing your talent? Do you run the risk of the talent like not developing as quickly or not fulfilling their potential? So it's a difficult one. K-Dub said, $1 Million Man was so good. I loved watching him as a kid. When are you going to start showing up to work shirtless like Trick does? Imagine if that was just the norm in the workplace. I know. Well, he's in Florida and I'm not, so it would look a little bit strange me coming down to my basement. like without a shirt on, that would be a little strange. Plus, also, my body is a disgrace compared to Trick Williams. CM Punk allegedly working to get AJ Lee back into wrestling. Don't know where that's come from. That's doing the rounds. Daze, AJ Styles is the only wrestler I could think of that has wrestled for WCW, TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan, Impact, and now a match in Pro Wrestling Noah. That is why he's my GOAT, says James. Dominic Mysterio, you are the father of Liv's child. Imagine that moment. Days, I missed the skits with the family in the restaurant and the Chase U angle. Von Wagner at a baseball court with Robert Stone's kids. You missed that. Tiffany doing the Ranch NXT. It's always known for fun skits. Yeah, we don't really do those as much. Some of them worked. Some of them didn't. I don't mind us just sprinkling the odd thing in there, but we've definitely turned all of that down. Right, Fanatics Fest coming up at New York on August 16th to August 18th. Here's Kalani. Who's she? Tatum. There's Wendy. Hello, here's Ashanti. Can you show me where medical is? Do you know, I was just thinking, that's such a clever move. He's like, can you show me where medical is? And he puts his arm around him. And they're like, oh my God, are you okay? And as he walks off, little look to the camera. Little wink as well. And all of a sudden, he just became my favorite wrestler. Love that. Love that. Ashanti wants that bathhouse massage. Don't we all? Right, we are underway with this tag match. Where are we time-wise? We got 37 minutes to go. 37 minutes. That is good 97% for Trick and Cedric. It is well below what I was hoping, but I think that is fair from you lot. We do find this actually now that we tend to get like a great match at the start, great match at the end, and then we get like just good throughout the rest of it. And that's what we've got. So we've got great 76, good 91, good 98, good 96, good 97. That's where we are so far. Lash Legend pushing Sol Ruka against the ropes. Whoa, straight through. 1, 2. Boom. Duck underneath. Behind. Boom! Back elbow by Lash. Sol to the outsides. How great that they showed an AEW ad a few minutes ago, says Tony. Yeah, I think they've bought advertising. I mean, I heard there was AEW ads. I don't know why USA have allowed that or how that's allowed. I don't know if there's like is there some sort of law where, I don't know, I can't imagine there is. Surely USA can choose whatever they want on their network. If they want to turn down AEW, they should be allowed to do it. Don't know, perhaps USA aren't bothered And perhaps the days of Vince kind of requesting that them ads don't run, maybe they're over as well. Is Jakara colliding into Carmen. Carmen charging over. Sling Blade. Down goes Carmen. Jakara is cool, but I'm a Jada Parker fan, said Art King. Uncle Howdy said, do we think Sol Ruka is like a female Will Ospreay? No. No, I don't. I think she's got the moves, but I mean, I don't know that she's got the selling or the storytelling. She's got moves and agility, but there's so much more to wrestling than just that. Whether she can develop those other sides and like really put on, you know, if she was the female Will Ospreay, her match with Kalani would have been like a match of the year contender. Instead, it got some really interesting reaction. Some people were really into it. Some people weren't. Actually, didn't Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez kind of lay into it and just say it was like gymnastics, which caused this massive outrage because, of course, that's what a lot of people think AEW is. So it kind of sparked a whole talking point. But I think, yeah, she's agile. She is very impressive. Love her finisher. Great potential. But until she starts really putting it together and getting those kind of 5-star matches, oh my God, great finish by Lash. I don't think she can be seen as Will Ospreay. But that is the highest of bars. It's a win for Lash and Jakara. Love that finish by Lash. The bougie bully. Do we know what that finish is called by Lash? Yeah, some heavy shots being exchanged. Can it, ref? Skr! Isla and Alba. They call out Isla and Alba? Next week at Great American Bash. So Lash and Jakara want Isla and Alba. I'm sure it will. Imagine if it wasn't accepted. Here's Trick and Sean. I got you. Take it easy. Here's Roxanne going off at Sean. So Sean's like, yeah, okay, can we sort this? Yeah, and you need, okay, yeah. Oh, it's all under control. It's all under control. Sean's got this all under control. That was fun. It's fun seeing them just like going off on a flipping one of the biggest legends in the history of wrestling. There's just no respect, is there, in that place? No respect at all. We know that Isla, Kaylee are not going to lose those tag titles, says Jim. Jim, hope you're well. Hope life's good in Canada. Daze, what's the point in Tony paying expensive money to air AEW commercials on Raw and NXT, trying to target a wrestling audience that simply doesn't care to watch AEW? Well, I think the truth is that it's not like everyone has decided. I think the truth is that if you look at the internet wrestling community, I think people have probably made their minds up in regards to Am I going to watch AEW? Am I going to watch WWE? Am I going to watch both? You know, I think it's been going long enough now that I'd imagine people have made their minds up where they are on that. But there will be a lot of casual fans, as I've said before, that aren't as decided. Maybe they tried AEW ages ago and they've not watched it for a while, and they're like, oh, big show coming up, or, you know, you might be able to grab some people's attention. Whether it's worth the money that they're spending for adverts is debatable. I don't know. We may never get an answer to that. We'll never know if it was worth doing. But I think it makes sense if you've got a wrestling show coming up that you would want to run adverts in the commercial break of a wrestling show, because those people that are watching it are into wrestling. So you want to see if you can attract some of them over, because not everyone's going to be hardcore internet wrestling fans. Some will be casual fans. This is on USA Network, so you will get those people that have flicked channels and gone, oh, what's this? And, you know, they'll be watching it. So whether there's enough of those, because obviously NXT audience traditionally is a more hardcore fan base. You've got to be pretty hardcore to want to be watching WWE's developmental. So obviously it's a more hardcore fan base, but it won't be exclusively hardcore. There will be casuals that are watching because it's on USA Network and anyone can tune into it as long as you've got that channel. Then you can be flicking the channels and, you know, maybe you've just recently become aware of Trick Williams and you really like him. Perhaps you're an Ethan Page fan, never watched like NXT before and now you're tuning in, or blah, 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 blah. I feel like there's enough reasons as to why you would run it. Whether it's worth doing, I don't know the answer to that. Don't know. Might not be worth it. Might not be worth it. You might only get a very small... You might sell 1,000 extra tickets. Which... Would that pay for the advert? If everyone buys a £30 ticket, you sell 1,000, that's 30,000. Does that even pay for the advert? I don't know. Do you even sell that many tickets? Some of it as well might just be like perception, because you'll also have wrestling fans talking about, oh my god, did you see what AEW did? They ran a commercial during NXT, and so that also does the rounds, doesn't it? So you do get that from it as well. Like, look at us, we're talking about AEW. Okay, we're back to the action. How's the show been so far, said Drew. Mixed bag. Hope you're well. I'm good, thank you. LA Night meet and greet was fun. Show was great. Long day, but worth it. Drew, shout out to you. It was... I'm glad you had a good time. And glad to hear that LA Night meet and greet went well. They're so good with those meet and greets, though. I mean, I don't think it would ever not go well. So, yeah, good. You haven't really missed a great deal. We do have a Joe Hendry thing on at the moment. So they're still on board with the Joe Hendry thing. He says he's been wrestling for the last 11 years. How do you stand out in 2024? You create an image that's impossible to escape. It's good that Well, it's good that we're getting to find out a bit more about him. This is a good video package. They're going full on with Joe Hendry. They really are. It's very surprising that they would do that for someone that's not their talent, you know. Jim said Joe started his career as a heel. His contract's not up anytime soon. I don't know where this is going. TV13 theme song meme, as well as natural charisma, unlike Elias. Curse you, Cena, says Mr. Quake. Here's Gallus. How about me and you next week? Oh, God, there's a concert. He's doing a concert on NXT next week. Okay, here's Ethan. Okay. I know some people only started watching NXT because of Ethan, but now they love so many other wrestlers in NXT, says James. Oh, what? You know some people like that? That's good. Okay. Well, it hasn't took long at all. Isla and Albert have responded. Can NXT focus on NXT wrestlers only, says Mr. B. Well, no. I mean, we have got this relationship with TNA, so... And Joe Hendry is super, super over. So you can understand them leaning into it, but it is strange that we're leaning so hard into someone that's not an NXT talent. Here's Ethan. What Oro did to me last week, it doesn't count. None of this bothers me, says Ethan. You got pinned is the chant. So Ethan is not happy that he got pinned. I mean, he didn't get pinned, but he was pinned. But it wasn't a match. It wasn't a legitimate match. The count wasn't official. The crowd are chanting it. It's a sign in the front row that says, please stop talking. And then we've got signs that say, not my champ. Here's Oro. Oro comes down, rolls up. 1, 2, 3. Why did the ref count that? Why did he count that? So 1, 2, 3 is the chant. Why did he count that? Do you reckon referees, if ever they're in that situation where someone gets rolled up, they have to? It's just a natural urge. They can't help themselves to just count. It wasn't. It wasn't even a match. It was nothing. Here's Charlie Dempsey. Have they had a killed yet? Have a killed? Okay, so Tony is going to be facing Tavion next week. Here's the Rascals. So Rascals taking on Nathan, Axiom, and the young OG, baby. Let's go. Charlie looks more like his dad each day, said TJF 1983. Ken says the Rascals. Rascals making their way out. So I think this is our main event? I think it's our main event. I'm guessing the Rascals get the win and then we do a tag title match next week, maybe, or 2 weeks. Okay, commercial break. We got 18 minutes to go. Drew said, what do you think on my girl Carmen as a singles wrestler? Do we think she'll get called up to the main roster? Well, I can't see why not, why she wouldn't. I mean, I think personality-wise, she's maybe lacking in the sense of she doesn't seem to have this big character. Like, she comes down with the sword thing, which doesn't massively do it for me. We've seen, like, Xia Li doing martial arts stuff in the entranceway before, and I don't know. It's not... I don't find myself getting impressed by those kind of things. In the ring, I think she's quite good. She's quite tidy. She seems solid. I think she can put on a perfectly acceptable match. Promo-wise, there's not really anything that stands out. I mean, I can't say I've seen loads of live promos from her, but she was in a pretty big feud with Lola and that whole underground situation when she was sort of, you know, supporting Natalia. She was getting a bit of time to come through there. I still feel it's very early in her development. But, you know, I would say, for me, just everything needs to develop. She needs a more varied moveset. She needs to work on her selling a bit more. Needs to get some good promos, some memorable promos. Needs to get some memorable matches. I'd like to turn her personality up. Outside of the martial arts thing, I don't know anything about her. So I'd like to turn all of that up. But I just think she's fine for where she is. She is someone that could absolutely make it to the main roster, but I mean that ain't going to be this year. I would doubt it would be next year. Actually, might be looking at like 2026. I do think it's very early in her development, but yeah, I mean, there's not really anything to point at and say is bad. It's just early. Would you like to see a Royal Rumble be a 2-night event, said Angel Imperious? I personally would, yes. I think you could put the women's on night 1 and the men's on night 2, so that the quality of the matches could be better, said Angel Imperious. Yeah, I would like that. I think that we're doing it to SummerSlam in 2026. We've already done it to WrestleMania. You can definitely do it to the Royal Rumble. I did ponder the idea of doing it to Money in the Bank. I don't know that you do it to SummerSlam. Survivor Series, sorry. I would not do it to any of the other shows. But I do think the big 4 you could do it for. But that does beg a question of in 2024, 2025, what is the big 4? What is the big 4? Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, But is Survivor Series bigger than Money in the Bank? I feel like it might be. I feel like it might be. But because of Money in the Bank being a ladder match for the contract, I feel like you could do the women's one night and the men's on another night. You could split Money in the Bank. So I would do it for whatever we think the big four is. If we think it's Survivor Series, maybe you go with that and you just leave Money in the Bank. If you think it's Money in the Bank, maybe we go for that. We don't do Survivor Series. Maybe we do all 5. But if we did all 5, that would be my absolute max. That would be my max. But I don't mind it. I think it's been good for WrestleMania. It's been good. More matches, but not in an exhausting way. It just makes a really fun weekend. It is fun whenever we've got a weekend like where it's wrestling on Saturday and Sunday. That normally happens because the main roster are on Saturday and the NXT is on Sunday. Or it's WrestleMania and it's both days. And we know that SummerSlam's going to be that way. So I'd have no issue with Rumble going to 2 days at all. No problem. I would just expand it to, would you do it to Survivor Series? Would you do it to Money in the Bank? They have just remembered that they've got women's titles that can be on every show, said James. Tingaling said, I think Survivor Series is bigger with War Games. Yeah, I agree. I think as well, we've done quite well with making Survivor Series feel like a big show. I mean, last year, CM Punk came back, Randy Orton came back, you know. Definitely felt significant. Year before that, we had the Bloodline, like, all working together inside of War Games. I mean, that felt huge. So I think we've done a good job the past few years of making Survivor Series feel like the big show that it is. And I suppose that has coincided with War Games being brought to Survivor Series. So, Joe Hendry is live in concert next week. That's going to be on Great American Bash. Okay, Rascals in the ring. We got 12 minutes and there is an overrun. Spartan said WWE have been trying to sign Mustafa Ali back to NXT, but apparently Ali is not interested. Have they? Okay, here's Axiom and Nathan. I agree. TNA is being a bit overdone. I hope we don't get bogged down into the AEW New Japan guys popping up. Bouncy! Here's Javon. Let's go. I mean, you can understand the Joe Hendry, like, they want to capitalize on it, don't they? WWE can see the memes, they can see the excitement, they want to capitalize on that. Okay, here's Javon. I guess Oba misses Great American Bash because he just defended. I don't know, to be honest. I would guess so. He did just defend against Wes. I mean, yeah, I suppose he would. There's nothing being teased for him. This is going to be good, said Jadam. Okay, here we go then. Bell has sounded. Wrestling Overtime said TNA are helping develop NXT talent. Mr. Quake said Tony, Survivor Series has had so many incarnations. Mitchell said this match should be awesome. Okay, main events. Axiom, Nathan, and Javon. I've still got Trick's flipping theme in my head. Okay, Axiom is in the ring with, I think that's Trey. Yep. Over. Against the ropes. That was good. Kip up there by Axiom. Trey flips over. That was good. Drop kick there by Axiom. Trey over by the ropes. Looking for a octopus. Oh, look at the speed of Nathan. Boom. Moves like a blur. Strikes like a cobra. Chop coming in there by Nathan. Nathan over the other side. Over the top. Roll. Oh, my God, man. Oh. Gets kicked. I wonder if he's in there with someone that can keep up with him, this Trey guy. Because he's quick. Against the ropes goes. Trey holds onto the ropes. Nathan goes through the ropes. Love that there by Wentz. Now we've got all of the Rascals in working together. Boom! Drop kick. Excellent work by the Rascals. Very, very good. They do. Oh, my God. Now we're bringing in the young OG. Look at him rubbing his hands. Javon gets in there. Against the ropes goes Wes. Over the top goes Javon. Wes flipping over. Javon in between the legs. Grabs the leg of Wes. Springboards. Goes back underneath. Over. Flips on the top. Head scissor. Takeover. Good work there by young OG. Drop kick right in the face. Boom. Look at that. Look at that. Wes in there with Javon. Chop coming in there by Wes. Working on the arm. And we've got a big shot there by Javon. Shot coming back there by Wes. These two exchanging blows. Boom! Big right hands. Another kick coming in there by Wes. In the corner goes Javon. Wes up to the outside. Top rope Enziguri. Javon goes down. Wes up over. Crashes down as Wentz comes in. Oh, look at that. Bronco Buster in the corner. Kick there by Wes. Here's Nathan. Nice. Enziguri. Guy's still going on him in the corner. That was excellent by Miguel. Lovely kip up. Some of these kicks just look really good. Cradle inside by Javon. Duck underneath by Javon. Whoa, mate, that was sick. Wentz pulling down that top rope. Javon ended up going to the outside. He didn't mean to. But thankfully, there was people out there that were able to break his fall. I mean, of course, it's a planned spot, but it's a sick planned spot. Let me see Wentz going to the outside as well. As we go to commercial break, the Rascals standing tall. That was good. That was a really fun moment. A bit excessive with that Bronco Buster, said Gringo. Yeah. This match is awesome so far, said Mitchell. Bouncy. Very bouncy. Manny said, my lord, they are cooking. Last time I saw the Rascals, last week was it, or the week before? I said, really good, really enjoyed them. Just want them to, when they lay it in, just make it look like it's landing, make it look like you're connecting. There was just a few occasions where, you know, you could see the kick had missed by a distance. And it just was like, you do all this amazing stuff, but the most important part is the end part, the connection, what it actually results in. And I was just looking for that to get turned up. And so far, that's what we've got. So far, everything's looking good. Maybe we didn't need the Bronco Buster as much, but yeah, no, good, really good. 5 minutes and a little overrun. Charles said, it is a great match. Chris said, I'm a fan of NXT. Mitchell said, I hope this match gets another 10 minutes. It should do, yeah, should do. A. Jobson said, there's a lot of TNA talent that's being pushed. Message has been retracted. Daze, are you understanding now why I was so stoked about the Rascals reunion? Last week there was just touch off getting back into the swing of things. Yeah, I mean, I understand that they are quick, agile, but I think what's quite impressive about them is just how they've got these big spots that they've clearly put a lot of work into. So, like, you know, this one person will go over and get him into position. The other two are doing... Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like they do move followed by move, but it's like all three are working together at times and building towards, like, you know, this move. Like, that bit where... I can't remember who it was. He had him kind of pulled back whilst the other two were going against the ropes, and then they came back and did, like, a double drop kick. And you can see the elements moving, and it's like, well, where's this going? And then you see how it like plays out. It's very good. I mean, I can't really think of a team in NXT for a long time that's really done that. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like they're definitely bringing some that we don't have in NXT. We've got Nathan and Axiom, but obviously the Rascals, there's 3 of them, and they have obviously, you know, worked on these a lot. There's this synergy. It's like they know what each other's going to do before they do it. Here's Javon, though. Boom. You know, you're not going to get that from Javon and Nathan and Axiom. Individually, though, these 3 are very impressive. Look at that. Lovely work by Nathan Frazier. Boom. The more I see of Nathan Frazier, the more I love him, says Manny. I saw an interview the other day with Ric Flair. Wish they'd give more meaning and would sell the chop more, not just stand and take it, said TJF. So we've got like it was a bit of like $1 million dream for a second there. In the corner, back elbow, big boots. Trying to get over and make the tag. Art King said, I agree. These guys have got wings. Javon hang time is wild. His cutter is otherworldly, said Charles. Yeah, you're right. His hang time is very impressive. Okay, right now we've got Wentz in there with Axiom, and Axiom collides into him. There's a kick. There's a German. Is down on his knees. Javon, 1, 2, shoulder up. Wentz able to kick out as Javon in control. Right now, keeping him tied up in the ring, Javon, keeping him grounded. He's trying to get back up to his feet. Javon grabbing the leg. Down goes Wentz. Oh, lovely. Straight over the top, though. Kicks out at him. In the corner goes Javon. In comes Axiom. Axiom trying to grab a hold of the ankle. He's got the ankle. Wentz trying to get over. Manages to get out of it. Axiom goes into the corner, but it's a tag. Oof. Nathan launched himself, but ended up getting kneed mid-air. It's good. Evans is in NXT under HBK. He'll show him how to use his skills as a high flyer without overdoing it, says Wrestle Andy. Bradley said, are you doing the Olympics? No, sadly not. We're fully focused on wrestling these days. Back then, we were doing a little bit of Olympics. We were doing Euros and, you know, we were kind of doing lots of different things. But now we do a lot more videos to do with wrestling. We weren't doing them before. Things like Unseen and the opinion videos and stuff. All of that would have to stop if we were to do the Olympics. Boom! Stomp over the back. He's managed... Oh, look at that kick. Boom! Javon gets planted. Tag made. In comes Nathan. Duck underneath. Round the back. Back elbow. Oof. Trey. Don't know that that kick really resulted in much damage. His... all the Rascals are in there. Now they're going for a triple drop kick. Going for the cover. 2. Shoulder up there by Nathan. I think we got Rascals chant. I was trying to hear what they were saying. It is growing. Okay, here's Wes coming over, trying to grab Nathan. Nathan lands on his head. Inzaguri goes over, makes the tag. In comes Trey. Trey charging over. Look at that! Beautiful. By Young OG, lovely kicks. Duck underneath, against the ropes. Oh my God, he's so bouncy. He's so bouncy. Boom. Kick coming in by Trey. I'm really impressed with this Trey. Miguel. These two. I'd love... Oh, what a cutter! Are you kidding me? Says Bucker. Mad airtime. Mad airtime by the Young OG. Breaks out of this is awesome chant. Yeah, him against Trey Miguel one-on-one. I'd really love to see that. Tag. Axiom is in. Trey is up top looking for the Spanish fly. Spanish fly. Boom! Gets it! Now we got Nathan. Splash connects. 1, 2, and they break up the pin. Wow. Think of everything that these people have done. They're all down in the ring right now. Very good. Very, very good. I don't know which match. I mean, they're very different. I don't know which match I prefer out of this or the first match. I loved Brooks against Briggs. Oh, mate, what a cutter. But we have had some really, really good moments in this match. Axiom trying to get up to his feet. Goes over, grabs Trey. These two exchanging shots back and forth. Mitchell said, I don't care who wins this. It's awesome. What a cutter, says Ken. Here we go. Wes in the corner. Super kick. Boom. Stomp. Down goes Nathan. Over the top goes Wes. He goes to the outside. Is that going to result in a 3? It does. The Rascals get it. Very good. I don't know. I really don't know which match is the better. This had some really great moments. Really good moments. Some really impressive spots. But then that first match was brutal. You remember all the marks on Briggs's body? The kendo shots and the table spot and... Don't know. I just don't know. Both matches absolutely delivering. Okay, so we've got we've got the Rascals. We've got some handshakes between everyone. Here's Ava. Here's Ethan. I want Oro. Someone like me shouldn't have to deal with something like this. Next week. Contract signing next week, and it'll be Ethan Page against Oro Mensah the week after that. So there we go. NXT Championship match pretty much announced. And that was this week's NXT. I thought it started really well. I think it did dip in the middle. I think it ended really well. But that was, all in all, I think, you know, Trick Cedric didn't get to the heights I was hoping for, but I was still very excited for it. And then when it started, it was good. And there was a few sloppy moments in there. But yeah, the middle part of the show definitely dips. It's got a good start, it's got a good end, and there's a few bits in between which are strong. I'll be interested to see how people score that. We're scoring the match here, though. This isn't the show. This is just that main event match. What did you think? Get in a few final thoughts, and then we will run away. More shows should be on the network, said TJF. Decent NXT, said Big Time. I'm going to say 7. It was a fantastic show, said Dro. Aubrey said, still not an Axiom fan, but it was a cool match. Mr. B said, thank you for hosting this. Thank you for chatters. Everyone remember, you are loved. Here's Carmen Live. Yeah! Carmen Live said, Daze, I might attend the upcoming Backbreaker Wrestling show on August 3rd, St. Mary, Hildebrand Hall, Griffith, Indiana, and at the Super Wrestlers event at Concord Music Hall, Chicago on September 15th. I think you should. I think you should. I think you should go to both of those shows and have a wonderful time. Zay said, I truly believe NXT is better than SmackDown. Yep. I think it's quite close between them, but when you get 2 matches of the quality of the open and then the close, then you do start to look at SmackDown and go, okay, what you got? What you got? Match that. Match that. And so the pressure is on them to do that. NXT could be clear of SmackDown at the moment. We'll have to see what we get on Friday. And I haven't heard any spoilers, you know, for Friday. Genuinely, I have not heard anything, which I'm quite happy about. I do not want spoilers. I just want to watch and enjoy the show. So I've not heard anything. But sadly, people will. And I'm sure people will probably get spoiled, or things will get spoiled in that stream. But I've not heard anything. And we know that we're sure to get some surprises kind of behind the scenes, you know. They normally add some backstage segments that no one has seen. So, yeah, still looking forward to SmackDown. But I don't think it's unfair to say there's maybe a little bit of sheen that's been removed as the fact that it is a pre-taped show. Stay safe out there, said Shazam. How is the viewing experience on the network against TNT Sports? I would say it is about the same. The only thing is on TNT Sports, I think I'm probably a bit more in line with people. This is interesting. This got great 80, which means it does just pip our first match, but not much in it. First match was great 76, and our main event was great 80. So not much in it. It was close, but main event just getting it. In regards to viewing experience, not much difference, to be honest. Not for me. It's just that on TNT, it will be... I don't know why, but the internet carries a little bit of like lag. I don't know why. It's just always a little bit more behind, like 10 seconds or so. So I feel like I was probably a bit more in line with people when I was watching it on TNT, but that's not noticeable for me. It might be a bit more noticeable for you. In regards to adverts, we still go to adverts. Just rather than seeing adverts, we see adverts for like broken school sessions and stuff like that. Obviously, if it's on the TV, it's a bit further away. When it's here, it's here. There's no difference, really. There's no difference. It's just the same. It's just on the network instead. Apart from those little bits that I just mentioned. We never got picture-in-picture on TNT Sports, so I haven't lost that. I never had that. So, yeah, it's about the same. Only way to avoid spoilers, said James, is by deleting all social media and then never coming onto YouTube. Right, we're done. We are done. I'm going to run away and do an opinion video. It probably isn't going to be on NXT because we've done 2 weeks of doing NXT opinions and they just struggle, to be honest. I think people enjoy leaving their thoughts, but I don't know. People don't seem that bothered about watching the videos. They can struggle to get to like 1,000 views, which is kind of the benchmark, really. I just look for them to do about that. So yeah, I think we'll look to do something different. So keep an eye out on Twitter because there will be a question that goes up. I don't know what it is yet, but there will be a question that goes up for you to answer. And then we'll do a video on that tonight. It'll probably go either up tonight or get uploaded tomorrow. I'm not sure. It'll be whenever I can get to it. So we're done. Appreciate the support as always, guys. Have a great evening wherever you are. And I will see you again next time. Bye for now.